Hi dear students, now today we are going to talk about the microbes which are being found in the soil. We had previously spoken about the different soil structures, the soil texture, and what are the different factors which are responsible for the soil formation. In this session, we are mainly discussing what are the different microbes. Now, if you go to look into the soil might mainly consist of bacteria, it might contain lots of fungi, then actinomycetes, and also various protozoans are also being present here in the soil. So let's go deep into the topic right now, and later on we will be discussing what are the roles also of each and every organism in the soil formation.
About the soil microflora. The natural soil microflora, every time if you take a gram of soil, you can find that it do contain 1 million to about 1 billion of bacteria. And every 1 gram also contains various actinomycetes. What are actinomycetes? Actinomycetes are filamentous bacteria which of about 100,000 to about 100 million of actinomycetes have been found in every gram of the soil. And these actinomycetes are of much importance because they are mainly the source of various antibiotics that which we use today. And we can find that about 100,000 to 1 million of fungi are being found in every gram of soil, and the most predominant member of fungal group are include mainly the mushrooms or the basidiomycetes, and we also find in every gram 1000 to about 1 million of algae. Now what are algae? The algae are the green type of growths which have been found on the soil. You can find that in rainy season and all that, even on the surface of the soil you can find some green elements. They are referred to as the algae. Now other than that, we also do have various protozoans, nematodes which are referred commonly known as the roundworms. Then you have earthworms which are responsible to increase the fertility of the soil, as well as various other invertebrates would also be present. Now for about 1000 to 100,000 of invertebrates are also being present in the soil. So generally speaking, the most predominant microflora of the soil includes bacteria, followed by actinomycetes, and after that we have the fungi as well as the algae and various other groups.
If you're going to take the soil microflora, okay, as we mentioned, we have bacteria, you have fungi, you have protists, and also some primitive members or the primitive bacteria such as the archaea are also be present in the soil. Most of the soil bacteria and archaea are also primitive bacteria. They are located on the surface of the soil particles where the water and the nutrients are there in the immediate vicinity, where that is where there is water and nutrients in their uh, close vicinity. Okay, vicinity means where water is easily available for them in their close neighborhood. They where there is water and nutrients, there these bacteria as well as archaea will multiply, and they are usually found on the surface of smaller soil pores of about 2 to 6 micrometers in diameter. And when they are hiding over there in these small soil pores, what happens? They get protected by the predation of protozoans. Protozoans are some of the protozoans are also being found to be predatory. Predatory means they will eat on the bacteria. So to protect these bacteria from the predation, they might hide in between the small in the soil pores. Now, if you're going to consider soil organisms, they can be of either autotrophic in nature or considered to be as heterotrophic. I'm not talking only about the microorganisms or anything. If we go to consider the whole soil organisms, they can be either autotrophic in nature or they can be heterotrophic in nature. And autotrophic means they can use the inorganic materials which have been found in the soil, and they can synthesize their what? They can synthesize their own food. So that's why they are called as a autotrophs. So they are making organic particles using the inorganic materials which have been found in the soil. Now, if they are using light energy and producing, they are referred to as, if they are using light energy as a source of their uh, living, they are called the photoautotrophs. Or if they use chemical energy, they are referred to as a chemoautotrophs. So the autotrophs, they mainly constitute the main producers among the soil organisms. And there will be certain other soil organisms which will utilize previously formed organic matter. They are mainly called as a heterotrophs. Now, they can be of two types. Either they can be consumers, that is, they will eat the organic matter, or they can be even decomposers, that is, they will degrade the organic matter which was been previously been formed by the autotrophs or by other forms. And if they use chemical energy, they are referred to as a chemoheterotrophs. And if they use light energy, they are referred to as a photoheterotrophs. So this is the basic classification of all the organisms which have been found in the soil. They can be either autotrophs or they can be heterotrophs. Now coming to the soil bacteria that we have in the soil, as I told, you can classify them based upon their ecological differentiation. Now what is ecological differentiation? Just consider some bacteria. Ecology means something related to the habitat. Okay. So some of the bacteria will be always been present in the soil. Okay, and they are being found regardless of any situation in the soil. They are always been present in the soil. They are referred to as a autochthonous bacteria. This term is important. The bacteria which has been found throughout, or which is the throughout the year or anything within the soil, and which is having a uniform population, or which is always native to the soil. Such bacteria are referred to as a autochthonous bacteria. But there are certain other bacteria which will come only in the presence of some particular environmental conditions. Okay, that is only when an external source of energy or one particular substrate is come into the soil. Only in such situations there are some bacteria which arrive. They are referred to as a cymogenous bacteria, and they are usually the invaders of the soil. That is, normally they are not be present, but when some conditions come. Now, for example, I'll tell you, uh, if you are having a pesticide resistant called a pesticide. See, normally pesticide degrading bacteria will not be present. But when you dump lots of pesticides in the soil, what happens? Some population of pesticide degrading bacteria, their population will be found to increase when the when the pesticide has been dumped into the soil. It doesn't mean that they are not being present in the soil. They would be present in the soil regardless of pesticide is present or not. But when pesticide is imparted or when it has been put into the soil, the pesticide degrading bacteria's population will be found to increase. Such bacteria are referred to as a cymogenous bacteria. So they mainly are considered to be as invaders of the soil. That is, normally they are not being present in so much environment, so much concentrations or so much population density. When they get something other than the normal situation, or when the external source of energy is being given, their population increases. Okay, so I think you got a difference between what is a cymogenous bacteria and a autochthonous bacteria. Okay, this term is important because usually in most of the uh, situations you come across cymogenous bacteria. Now you cannot specify these bacteria are cymogenous, these are autochthonous. Like that, there is no specific demarcations because some bacteria are always been present in the soil regardless of the conditions. They are referred to as autochthonous. And there will be some bacteria which will increase their population depending upon the concentration of certain ingredients which are energy sources which are being put into the soil. They are referred to as a cymogenous bacteria. Now, you can also divide soil bacteria based upon their oxygen requirements. Some are considered to be aerobic and some are considered to be as anaerobic. When it considers to be aerobic, when it requires oxygen for its growth. They include Bacillus and Pseudomonas, which are the most predominant aerobic species, and there could be also anaerobic ones, such as a Clostridium. There are various others also, but I just gave you an example. And you can also divide the bacteria of the soil based upon their nutritional requirements. Some of them might require amino acids, some of them might require vitamins, and some might require both. I think you have learned about the auxotrophs and the prototrophs. We have learned about this. That is, which are being deficient in synthesizing certain amino acids. They are referred to as auxotrophic bacteria. Now, and the most common bacterial flora of the soil, it mainly includes Pseudomonas, Arthrobacter, Flavobacterium, Sarcina, Enterobacter, Bacillus, etc. So Pseudomonas and Bacillus and all these are all spore-forming organisms, and they are usually found in the soil. And hope so you remember Enterobacter also, we have mentioned it earlier. And these are the common bacteria which are being found in the soil. If you go to consider the gram-positive organisms, you can find different bacteria like Streptomycetes. Streptomycetes are coming under actinomyces. They are filamentous bacteria. Bacillus, as we mentioned earlier. Then Nocardia forms Mycobacteria. Mycobacteria is acid-fast bacteria which is responsible. Even Mycobacterium tuberculosis is responsible for TB. So not necessarily that always it is Mycobacterium tuberculosis, but Mycobacterium could be present. Corniforms can be present like Cornybacteria. Hope so you remember about the Cornybacterium diphtheria, which causes diphtheria. Now, Cornybacteria is usually a club-shaped cell, and then you have Arthrobacter, which is having a rod as well as a coccus cycle, and Cellulomonas, which is important in the degradation of cellulose. So, I guess you got an idea about the different bacteria which are being present in the soil. We will be discussing about the different fungi in the soil in the coming session. Thank you for now.